Hey guys, welcome back to another Cash Code video. So in today's video, I've gone ahead and made a subtitle system that you guys can use for your Roblox games. So as usual, we're gonna go through the system to show you guys how it works, how you can customize it, and then I'm gonna show you some of the code. So to download this system, like with all my other systems, you have two options. You can either go to my Discord server and then go to hashtag free models. And there is going to be a model, or not a model, it's going to be a file in there which you can download. It's going to be called something like subtitle .rbxm. RBXM is a file that means that it's just a Roblox model, which means you can plug it into a Roblox Studio instance, and then it's going to be something within the Explorer tab. Or you can download the model straight off the model marketplace or store, whatever you want to call it, which you guys are probably used to. So either way works, you just have to get it in your game. So if you download it on a model, you go toolbox, you go my models, and maybe refresh a few times, and then it should be right there. And if you haven't, then press workspace, insert from file, and then it's going to open your file explorer, and then you can download there. So I'll just put mine down here, so I'll drag it into workspace, which is where we want it for now, and it should be a folder called cc subtitle system v1. So yeah, and you'll see a part instantly. This is nothing we need to take care of right now. So to make the system work, there's a readme script as usual. If you've come directly from what's it called, some other stuff here, then yeah, but basically it's just if you come from something else, then you can, or if you just download it straight off the internet, you can come to this Discord server to get help with setting the system up. So we're just gonna take all these folders right here and we're gonna put them in their designated spaces. So just like this, I'm just going to put them like this. Boom, boom, and I'm definitely not the fastest person to do this, but whatever works. And then this one goes into here. Then I'm gonna delete the main folder. I'm going to select every single folder we just got, and then I'll go on group. So now you have some stuff in here. You have two sounds in sound service, one called subtitle sound to play the actual sound for when you get a new subtitle, and one called typewrite. That is because within this subtitle system, you have a few different optionalities of how you want your subtitle to work. So the main functionality of the system is within replicated storage in this module script called Easy Subtitles, which is just a module I wrote real quick. And basically, what happens is when you require it from a client script like this, up here I get replicated storage, and then I require my script, and then we have an initial load just to let everything load in. Basically, I'm calling this function new subtitle, and I'm passing in a bunch of arguments. So if you go ahead and look on the function new subtitle, we need firstly a message for the actual subtitle. It should be a string. Then we need a label name, should also be a string. This is what we want to call the label, or the label, when we clone it down here. And then we give it a duration. How long do we want to wait in between the subtitle fading and stuff? We give it a sound. This is the actual sound for the subtitle when a new subtitle comes on, which sound should we play. We have a typewrite, a boolean. So if you want it to typewrite, and this is just typewrite right here. And then I misspelled it, but we can just do typewrite like this if you want to change it, but it works either way. So, and then we have a typewrite sound, which is the sound for the typewrite if you want to have that. And then we have a no sound boolean, so if you want to remove the type sound. So basically, what happens here is that if the option to get typewrite is not on, so if you don't want typewrite for your subtitle system, then it's basically just going to make a new thread here and then run this code, which will give you a normal subtitle that just fade on your screen using these two. This will make it visible because we're changing the transparencies from 1 to 0 with an interval of 0.02 every time. And then it's going to wait, and then it's going to make it invisible by going from 0 to 1, and then, changing the transparencies. But firstly, it is going to make a new subtitle text, give it its positions and stuff, and then it's going to make the sound here by using string concatenation to get the actual sound of your stuff, and then it will play it. And then basically, if up here, if there was to be typewrite, if you wanted typewrite for a system, then it would instead of running all this code, it would then just fire this function and then give it some of the arguments from before. And then up here is this function, basically doing the same thing here. We're checking if we have a sound for the typewrite. If we don't have the sound for typewrite, we're going to assume that it don't want typewrite. So we're going to set it to just this number right here. I could set it by manual to like a typewrite sound that works. However, the issue is that when you run someone else's audio, sometimes it does not work in your game because you do not own that audio. Same thing, if you do not have anything for the no sound, then we just set it to false, just to give them some values right here. And then up here, we basically make it visible, the text. And it's very important that the text does not have anything in it, because then it will be visible before the typewrite effect, which would kind of give off the effect. So make sure there's no text. If you type text in here, make sure this is empty in here. And then basically it does the typewrite effect. It takes every character within the message string right here, and then it uses string.sub, which is a way to concatenate the string. And then message is the string, I is the number, and then J number, whatever. You guys can look on that. And then we play the sound and we do a small wait in between. So this is gonna do the actual typewrite effect, and then we're gonna make it invisible again. So the way you can require this is by in here saying easy subtitle, so subtitle, and then first of all we give it a message, and it says message should be a string, so that's what we give it. And these are just some AI generated sentences that I made. So then after that we give it a label name. So I just want to call mine label 1, label 2, label 3. You can call this whatever. I give it a duration. This is the duration between the text being visible to it fading away. So how long should the text be on the screen for? So I'll put 3 as in 3 seconds. And then you give it a sound, which is the actual sound for playing when there is a new subtitle. And if you want typewrite, then if you don't want typewrite, you just say false, and then you can ignore the 2 arguments coming after this, which is typewrite sound and no sound. However, if you did want typewrite, then down here, same thing as before, we would say yes to typewrite. We would then provide a typewrite sound, and if you want the actual sound to play, then we would type true again. If we type false, then the sound is not going to play. So what this looks like in game is that we should see 2 subtitles coming on with just the regular system, the initial system I made for this, and then one with the typewrite. So let's go ahead and test it. So that is the first one right here. It's going to fade out like it faded in. Second one comes here. You can see I put some nice font. And then the third one here, you can see it had a special typewrite sound, and then it's going to fade away. You see they kind of overlapped, and that is because the wait time from here to actually starting the subtitle was too short. So if I were to change this to 8, same thing as before, then it would not overlap. But you guys get the general idea with that. So I'm gonna toggle this because I want to show you guys another way of which you can, make this subtitle system work. So as always, since it is a module script, you can just require the script up here, and then you can call the functions whenever you want to. And basically, calling this function is saying I want this to run now. So whenever something specific happens in your game, you can run it. You could run it when the player died, when the player was sprinting, when the player saw something specific. Anything works. You just have to call the function on that special event. So down here is an example of that. It's just a simple .touched event. So to make this work, you need to have the touch part spelled exactly like this inside a workspace. It needs to be anchored. Can collide does not matter, but it needs to be anchored. And then whenever we touch the part, we check if it's a player. because what happens with the touch is, since the touch part is colliding with the base plate here, then it's actually touching the base plate. So we want to make sure that it only runs whenever it's a player that touches it and not just the base plate. And then if we don't have a debounce as well. So if we don't have debounce, we don't have a cooldown, as you could say, and it's the player that touches the touch part, then we can go ahead and run this function. So we instantly start by putting the debounce to true so that we cannot run it anymore. And then we just run this thing by saying new subtitle and then give it all our stuff. This one is with type right. As you can see, the first true, that means it is with type right. And again, if you do not want type right, you do not have to fill out the last two parentheses because they are optional. And they are optional because we put this in here so that if we didn't give it a value, we'll just set the value to false and a bunch of zeros. So then it wastes the time that we set it. So if you want the debounce to be shorter, you just shorten up this number, and then we end up destroying the part so that we only run it once. So what this looks like in game, touch the part, and then the subtitle comes on, the part gets deleted, and then the text fades out perfectly just like that. So key things to take from this is that whenever you require it, you have to give it the text, so the actual subtitle. This is the most important one. You have to give it a name. You can give it anything as long as it's you know, a valid string. How long should it be on the screen for? In my case, it's going to be there for 3. At least the wait time is going to be there a bit more than 3 seconds because it has to fade in and out, which also takes time. What sound should play when the subtitle is initially put on? So this is not the type right sound. This is what happens when it initially is put on. Should we have type right? Yes or no? And if we have type right, then what sound should we play? And should we actually play that sound or not? You can see if I go ahead and change this to false, so I say I do not want any type, or I do not want any sound effect for the subtitle. So the douche sound that comes on when we get a new effect. I only want the text right, or the typewriter one. Then we just change this one. I just had the sound right messed up, but basically right here, as you could hear, there was nothing, no sound playing. We had it on true by default. I thought it was false in my head, but that was true. If you then want the type right, you don't want any type right sound, you can just go ahead and completely remove that argument, and then it's not going to play any sound at all. You see, we actually get an error here, and this is because it needs a type right sound still, even though we set it up here. So instead of just removing it, which I just did, because this is still I haven't bug tested the system, so you would just I will put a bunch of zeros and then true again, run the system again here, and then as you can see, it says, because it hasn't found any audio, but as you could hear, it did not play any audio. So it could not find the audio 0 because we simply just gave it an audio that doesn't exist. So yeah, don't do what I just did. This was on already true. I thought it was false. I don't know why I thought that, but yeah, you get the point. No sound. If that is true, then there should be no sound. And then if you don't want a typewriter sound, then just set it to a bunch of zeros instead of deleting it, because that will throw an error. So yeah, this is basically how it works. So yeah, if you guys got any additional errors on top of this, again, I have not hard bug tested this system. That is what I want you guys to do. If you want to use the system, you're probably gonna encounter an error or two, and then we will fix that along the way. So please make sure to let me know if you find an error with this system, because I'll gladly do a fix to it. But yeah, this is just funny enough in the name, it's an easy subtitle system that is usable for most people. It's not the hardest code ever. So I hope this video helped out in some way. Again, you can download the model, or you can download the file link within my Discord, and you can download the model in the description. There's going to be a link that just says Roblox model, and then you just copy that to you get that into your inventory. And then yeah, that is basically all. So thanks for watching another Cash Club video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.